Hello, Venus angels. This is a strange occurrence. I normally don't do this, come back twice in 30 days, but this season made me want to try something different. I was observing my surroundings and taking in everything that people were saying and feeling and doing, and in return, what I was feeling and saying and doing, and I wanted to come back here and share with the Cove what the Cove is going on, because there definitely is a pattern happening. I'm noticing that Aries season is taking a lot of action, impactful action. There's a lot of movement, new plans put in place. There's a lot of initiative going on from a personal level to a societal level. I think a lot of us are going through big changes, and I think we're having a tough time getting through it. But I will say, I love what Aries season is also doing. During these painful times where we could be crumbling, but we're not fully folding either. We're working through the pain. We're not going to be pushed down so easily. We're fighting. We're looking for answers. We're looking for solutions. We're looking for the truth. And I've noticed with that, a lot of culty, exclusive things aren't catching our attention as easily anymore. There's a big shift from being so woo-woo on things to finding real evidence, real proof, not just putting a bandage on our pain anymore. And I'm also seeing less shame and guilt. I think there was a point where we would all, as a society, put ourselves in shame, guilt, regret of our past actions. But I feel like Aries season is helping us see it as taking accountability and responsibility of our wrongdoings, or rather the things we fell for, not knowing any better. And we're just trying to find tools to help us get out of this mess. It's giving independent angel. It's giving, I got myself into this mess, I can get myself out. It's not going to be easy. I mean, it hasn't been easy. I'd say for myself, it hasn't been simple seeing the path of my own journey, quite frankly. At times, I do feel like I'm growing, for sure. However, it feels very fast-paced, this growth. Like, it feels like I'm taking an intensive course on something, and I only have 2 months to complete everything and digest everything, and that's not sustainable for me. When someone pushes me to learn something quickly, it won't last in my brain for a long time. That's just not how I work. So, I've been a little frustrated that I'm being pushed to do that in this season. So, in times like these, I had to figure out how to center and ground myself. How to take control of my own life and tell the universe, I need a break, babes. I am in no rush going full-time growth mode. I need time to just be a human being and not always a human doing. I love that phrase. But yeah, I need to figure out that in this very intense, chaotic season, I love it and I love how much I'm growing, but in order for me to obtain the lessons, it needs to slow down. So I've found that spending more time alone has really helped me let the wisdom settle in my system. I'm someone who replies to texts at a good amount of respectable time, but I'm getting drained, so now I need to get back to people a little bit later on. I'm also going through a mask-off transformation. I've been getting so deep into myself of who I am, and as a Libran is always love, peace, harmony, and positivity, and we fucking love to keep the peace because life is short and we should always strive for good times more than the bad, but my reason comes from a much deeper wounded way of me keeping the peace, and that's something that I discovered within myself. I'm not a super chipper person that I thought I was, who always shows up smiling and cheerful. I'm a human that goes through a million emotions throughout her day. And I love discovering that about myself because I always felt guilty showing up any other way in front of people. But now I can show up as myself, just a regular girl who is very passionate about many things, but not always a chipper, pep in my step girl. And I love that about myself. It's so liberating. It's freeing. And I've been getting into the 90s, and I feel like it relates to my realization more than anything, because if you think about it, 90s is a peculiar time in our living story of humanity. You had 60s and 70s where all this hippie wellness, yoga, peace and love happened, and then the 80s happened, where we just got very creative with fashion and did whatever we want in a very highlighter, neon, dramatic type of way. And then hit the 90s, where we became a little less dramatic in clothing, but became more grungy in personality and very effortless in appearance. 90s was like, I'd like to think, our realest moment that we've ever been. Our emo Kurt Cobain, maxi dress, flip-flops, Brenda Walsh, real, self-discovery, fuck you type of mood. And then the 2000s came in and became all maximalist again. As if we got thrown into some Hollywood promise that if we just behave and get rid of the angst, we'll be happy again. Because I think there was a lot of deepness in the 90s, without too much internet promotion of self-harming yourself like the 2000s did. I think we should have had, in my humble opinion, 2 decades for the 90s to really learn about ourselves. Like, part 1 is to get all the grungy and emo angst out of us, right? And then part 2, I think we could have healed. But the nice and shiny 2000s number came into place, and we just got super maximalist and techie, and we were just so mean to each other there. And myself included, I'm a part of the mess too, I admit. I hold accountability. But anyways, I went on a tangent to say that I've just been feeling very 90s. Less theatrical 80s, not as glammy 70s, and reducing the culty vibe of the 60s. Still witchy in all decades, but I even noticed that my outfits are completely toned down too. I've heard a lot about New York City people that we're not dressing super fashion eccentric anymore, either because life is just hard right now and we don't have the energy to explore ourselves, or, everything's just super expensive. And it's kind of sad. Like, it's kind of becoming very unaffordable to try new things, at least in fashion. I don't know about anything else. I mean, probably everything else too. But if I can find something light, something positive about this, is that I do think there is a benefit from this moment. Instead of just putting our energy externally, I think this could give us the chance to stop looking at the glitz and glam of things and put ourselves to really understand ourselves. What we like, what we don't like, who we really are, and who we're really not. It feels like we're stepping into a brand new, interesting journey. And this journey feels like a journey of courage to discover yourself in the least superficial, woo-woo type of way. And I know this is an astrology-themed podcast, so I think woo-woo is kinda lingering here. But as I mentioned before, take what I'm saying into whatever resonates with you. My word is not Bible. I am not a professional astrologer. I'm just an enthusiast to the topic, and I love sharing my insights and hearing about it. I will probably never make even an astrology app because they're never accurate. It's all AI generated anyway, so I'm not going to be doing any of those astrology apps, I'm not going to be doing anything that's just like getting a bang for my buck, because I'm not an astrologer. I'm really not, I'm not going to just put up stuff. Maybe I'll make cute artsy starry canvases in the future. I actually did one the other night. But that's about it. I'm not going to hold those appointments for $25 a session and I'll read you your birth chart, because I am still trying to understand my own birth chart, and I'm always like figuring out as well if like, is this me or is this just woo-woo stuff, you know? Like, I'm skeptical of my own favorite niche that I like talking about. I want to keep this space remaining authentic. It's totally fine if you agree or disagree, if you want to argue that this is just a load of crap, but like, don't just say that. Like, tell me why, you know? Don't be a smartass, please. Let's be respectful here. And yeah, you know? So I want to remain authentic as I can, making this a community. So to the person who gave me 4 stars, I appreciate you for caring and giving me that feedback. One thing I strongly feel about not doing is giving my Venus Angel listeners manufactured content. You know, I take a good amount of time to really think about what I'm going to say. I write out my little index cards, my little Word doc, my little Google Word doc, and I talk my shit. So yeah, going off that though, I'm working on figuring out what I like and come off as authentic instead of all glitz and glammy, because I realized also I don't just want followers. I want a real community who actually give a shit about what I have to say and want to be a part of the conversation. So I'm making my posts more niche to people that actually find it intriguing, rather than searching for everyone and making the numbers go up. You know, I hope that made sense. Because from like a musician perspective, I realized that I was too doing it that way so that I can look pretty and cute and very Sabrina Carpenter, 50s font with vibrant colors. Although I do love those things, you know, it worked on me. I just have a specific way of wanting to show up for people who do fuck with me. I learned that. I had that realization this season. Like, wait, why do I want random strangers to follow me who aren't really that into me just to grow my following? I would feel the same way back, you know? Like that one person who's promoting themselves and kind of aggressively asks the audience to follow them. The whole take out your phones, you know? And then, like, I understand the reason, you know, I was there. But the truth is, if someone doesn't like your content or music or product or, you know, whatever you're marketing, you're kind of just having them on your followers as, like, extra space on your roster. And sure, that looks nice for, you know, companies to reach out to you, but it's not genuine. And for that, you might as well just buy your followers. So I'm not doing that anymore. I want real humans with genuine interest in what I'm creating. I want to meet people that love my niche and give me real criticism because they care. And I will hear that and cater to those people. And that's all I have for you, Venus Angels. That was a mouthful. I don't know if any of this made sense. I know I kind of just came off strong with what was going on, and I don't know if you could resonate or if you're just like, yeah, you're going through it this season. I am going through it this season. I am. But that's okay. I am feeling more healed and lighter and a lot of clarity, and I've been really understanding myself a lot this season. So I'm just so thankful for Aries season. I want to talk about Aries season in another episode about, like, I had this weird theory, just really quick. I had this weird theory about Aries season should be considered the new year rather than January. Yeah, I know. It's weird, but I have a good argument, and I think it could pass. I mean, you know, to each their own, you know, whatever calendar they follow, but I think I'm going to do this moving forward. Anyway, that's it. I don't want to burn any more brain cells for you or me. If you like this episode, please give it a thumbs up. You can follow me on all social platforms at August in Venus. And that's all I have for you today, angels. My name is Johanna, also go by August. And this is Venus Cove, signing off. Until next time, Venus Angels.